Hi there, I'm Em. Welcome to the Professionals Recovery Room. In this episode, we're talking about staying organized with competing priorities, which I think is something that we all are constantly sharpening the sword, trying to get better at in some way, shape, or form to be more efficient. And there is a way to, quote unquote, juggle priorities without burning out. But it's a lot different, I think, than what we would assume to be true. And to just jump right in, the first thing that I want to cover is starting with your top 3 to 5 priorities. So, what I mean by this is every week or even every day, I do mine daily, is just pick the top 3 priorities for that day or week, right? Maybe 3 to 5. Preferably, in my case, I try to choose 3, and then anything after that is essentially cake. And it can be work related, home related, health related, whatever it is your priorities today to make sure that those are the things that you're focused on. And in order to feel like you were productive, these are the things you're going to complete. So again, just start with those top 3 priorities. Ask yourself what matters most today or what matters most this week, whichever is more relevant for you. Using this approach will help you not feel that overwhelm that comes with having 1,000 different things to do. Yes, you want to get all these things done, and you probably can if you start with this process, but you want to start small, give your brain less to bite off and chew, and begin making progress on 1, 2, 3 things before you move forward. The next tip I have for you is to use blocked time to help reduce that mental load. So, I've talked before about switching between tasks. Essentially, what that does is it increases your cognitive fatigue and it decreases efficiency when you're switching between tasks. So, what you would want to do is take a block of time, just completely focus in on what is most critical in that hour and a half block of time. And what happens when you do this is that you can be more productive at that one thing, get that crossed off your list or get, super far before you have to move and switch your brain over to something else, which takes time. So every time that you're switching between those tasks, this is taking time for your brain to recalibrate and find that deep focus again. So Rubenstein in 2001 found that task switching can reduce productivity by up to 40% due to the lost time in mental reorientation. So this is one of those easy but super impactful ways to make sure that you're staying focused on the right things and getting things done. And the other thing to keep in mind is that, when you're giving yourself a block of time, there's more of a chance that you're going to complete that task to the end. And really interesting, the Zeigarnik effect shows that incomplete tasks occupy mental space until they're either completed or externalized, like written down. So if you're not able to complete that task in that block of time, it could be beneficial to go ahead and write that down. I know on my notepad, I actually have a space for tomorrow. There's also a space for don't forget. And that really helps me, again, if I can't finish something today, to make sure that I remember and I'm not holding that space in my head, which just gives me more to think about. So in short, you don't need to do everything now, but you do want some sort of a system to hold it for you. And in this case, it can just be a handwritten notepad. It can be a to-do list. It can even be on your computer, whatever works for you. The next point that I feel is really important to cover is to expect things to go wrong and essentially build in buffer time in between your focus time. Overscheduling is something that can really lead to feeling behind constantly, consistently overwhelmed with too many things to do. So if you can just build yourself even like 15, 20-minute buffers in between meetings or in between like heavy work that you're doing, just for those unexpected tasks, or maybe you need a break to step away from your desk and recover some of that energy loss. This is a great time to do that, and it can help you from feeling overwhelmed. It can give you even like 5-minute bursts of some self-care. maybe a 5-minute meditation, maybe just recalibrating, some deep breathing, whatever it is that you need, having that time built in between your tasks can help you make sure that you're taking care of you. And then the last thing I want to cover today is when you're overwhelmed, your executive function dips. So essentially, your brain it feels like your brain becomes fried. You can't think straight. It's overwhelmed, right? So we want to make sure in the situation of overwhelm that you're not trying to just push through it and get it all done. When you feel the overwhelm coming on, take a moment to just pause and regulate that nervous system. Because what's happening is you're triggering your nervous system in that moment. So you can do some possibly deep breathing, again, just emptying the brain, letting your body come back to a relaxed state. It's really important to regulate before you start pushing forward because you cannot feel organized when your body is not in a calm state. It just, one does not come with the other. So make sure that you're doing that as well. And again, those buffer times that we just talked about are really great for being able to do that and not being back to back to back, if at all possible. But honestly, I do understand the back-to-back meetings. I've been there, I've done that. Even if you're able to possibly even step away 5 minutes before a meeting ends to have that buffer, just letting people know maybe you need to use the restroom before your next meeting, so you need to drop. Something along those lines, just to make sure, again, you're taking care of you. And by implementing all of these things, you actually, at the end of the day, can feel more organized. Start organizing those competing priorities to make sure that you're completing the most important and value-add tasks, and then feeling productive at the end. Thank you so much for joining today. I hope this was helpful. Our next episode is going to be on the myth of multitasking. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that and why doing more isn't always achieving more. I hope you have a great week. See you next time.